What's up, guys? I'm the Nearsighted Gamer. Thanks for coming to see me. I've played a lot of video games in my lifetime, and I've made a lot of memories along the way. And I want to share some of them with you. These are my gaming memories. With the release of Spider Man 2 coming out this past week, I thought I would share a memory that is somewhat related to the Spider-Man franchise. It's not related to Spider-Man particularly, but more so Miles Morales, who is in Spider-Man 2. Now, I don't know if y'all remember a little thing called the pandemic that happened, in 2020 whenever the world just shut down and everybody was just stuck inside their houses. Well, when that happened, I was deemed one of the essential workers. So I continued working throughout the whole time and never got time off or a break or whatever until November whenever I got COVID. So I got COVID and I ended up being home for 3 weeks because back then, like the quarantine time was extremely longer than it is now, and there was no home testing and whatever, and everybody was really afraid of it because it had just happened. But I ended up getting COVID in November, which was the month that the PlayStation 5 launched, and I did not get one then. It also launched with Miles Morales, which was also on PlayStation 4. And I ended up getting that, and it came in the day before I got COVID. So I got it, and we were doing isolation things where, our house, it was a family of four. So one person would get it, then that person would be quarantined, and then two people would get it, then they would be quarantined. And then if the third person got it, because it went through everybody, nobody was immune. When the third person got it, it made more sense that the person that didn't have it was be the one that be quarantined, and everybody else should be able to go around because that just made no sense. I think that time I was I think I was the third to get it that time. And so I was quarantined. Well, I quarantined myself to the bedroom, and of course, I was going to bring my PlayStation. Put my PlayStation in there, had to set up and all that, isolated, whatever. And luckily, I had Miles Morales to play. So I played it, I platinumed it, I completely consumed that game. Now, it's not as long as it wasn't as long as Spider-Man 2017, but it was a nice game. It told a really good story, and it got to where it wanted to go, and I really liked it. But it was cool because the timing couldn't have been more perfect. Like, if you're going to be stuck in a room where you can't go anywhere and can't leave, the best thing that you can have is a really cool video game to play, or video games in general, which I did. And that the timing was just so perfect. Like, it came in, and I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to play this until like the weekend. I won't be able to dedicate as much time as I want to. It came in, I put my PlayStation in the bedroom, and I was just able to play Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales, all by myself with no interruptions, nobody telling me I had to stop. I could like just pause it, I could just go to sleep and wake up and do whatever. And it was so cool the way that happened. I mean, I had other games that I could play, so I wouldn't have had nothing to play. But it was cool that this game had just came out and it was a new game that I really wanted to play, and I didn't have to worry about investing time in it to play. Now, the thing is, I did have COVID, which wasn't that bad. It was only like 2 days of really intense symptoms and all that. After the rest of that, I was fine. I was just there, just doing my time of quarantine after that. For the first, let's say, 4 or 5 days, it was all Miles Morales. Now, it didn't take me that long to beat it because I didn't play it straight. Man, I knew I had plenty of time, so I wanted to try to make it last as long as I could before I would have to just come up with other things to do. But it was great. I liked it. It was a really cool way to introduce Miles into the Spider-Man lore, well, the Insomniac Spider-Man's lore, and they did it in preparation, obviously, for Spider-Man 2. Like, everybody saw that coming. Like, whenever you saw that Miles Morales was announced, it was like, yeah, he's going to be in Spider-Man 2. But we didn't get co-op like a lot of people thought, which would have been so cool. Maybe DLC still? I don't know. I was able to play that. I had that. Everything just lined up. I was able to play a really cool game that I had, and like, sadly, Miles Morales will forever remind me of having COVID for the first time. After I played through, I looked at the platinum, and the only thing about it was that you had to play through the game again. But that was fine because I wasn't going anywhere. I really liked it. The story was so good. It was, for the most part, the same mechanics as Spider-Man 2017, with the addition of Miles having his powers added to it. Gameplay was the same. Spidey sense, free flow combat, the swinging was still great. It was a smaller section of New York because it was just Brooklyn where Miles lives, not Queens where Peter lives. And Peter was in it for a little bit, just get you going, and then Miles had to like take on this huge undertaking and wanted to prove to himself that he could be Spider-Man, that he could do it. Peter wasn't there conveniently, so it was just Miles, and he was like, I don't know if I can do this. Spider-Man 2017 was my game of the year, so I was looking forward to this game when it came out, and I was clearly looking forward to Spider-Man 2 as well, which I'm currently playing through. Haven't finished it yet. I'm liking it so far. I really liked Miles Morales. I really liked Spider-Man 2017. And yeah, I mean, I guess this one's a little weird. It has a downside, like, I'm talking about having COVID, but again, it was nothing super serious, just a typical like minor symptoms, but for quarantine's sake, because nobody else knew what to do back then. It's always going to be linked to that game that I had, those times whenever like you're sick home from school and you just have this game to play that you rent or that you buy or your parents get it for you or you haven't been able to get around to because of school or whatever whenever you were younger. This was one of those situations, but I was an adult. You were stuck in a spot and you had this game all to yourself and nobody was able to tell you to stop. You could play it all you wanted to. It was just really cool. So I guess that's all I have to say about that. It's always going to be tied to that. Sucks for Miles, but it's cool. For the most part, I guess that's it. There's nothing more to elaborate on other than that. Thanks for watching all my videos. To everyone who watches, y'all guys are great. You're super awesome. Really appreciate it. Appreciate everything y'all do. And if you're new and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. It'll take like 2 seconds. And if you like the video, like it. If you don't like it anyway, because I said so. I guess now all that's left to say is, as always, be excellent to each other. See you, peoples.